Welcome to the AJ Sports Show. The conference championship games have been complete. You get to see and hear my reaction to them of what I felt, how both of the games went. So, I guess we can start with the AFC championship game. The Kansas City Chiefs traveling to face the Baltimore Ravens. And the result was the Chiefs beat the Ravens 17-10. This game was really more, in my opinion, about how sloppy, how stupid the Ravens played. The Ravens played undisciplined, unintelligent, in just some of the worst kind of football the Ravens have played this season. And the Chiefs didn't do that much special. They were just simply the team that didn't make much mistakes. The Ravens did. A lot of them. Mahomes had a pretty good day. Completed 30 of 39 passes, 241 yards, a passing touchdown, no picks. Pacheco really didn't have the best game. 24 carries, 68 yards. He did have a touchdown. Travis Kelce killed the Ravens defense. 11 catches, 116 yards and a score. But what really went on was the Ravens offense. The Ravens offense could not get it going at all. And it did not go well. Let's start with the first drive of the Ravens didn't go well. The Chiefs marched down the field, scored without a problem. The Ravens seemed to got their first drive going. They got a touchdown. Lamar Jackson threw it to Zay Flowers. Chiefs answered with a long drive. A long drive that took 9 minutes to be up by 2 scores. And then Lamar gets strip sacked, and it becomes a punt exchange. The Chiefs drove down the field late to kick a field goal, 17-7. But what really went on, and the second half is where the fun really begins. For people who don't like the Ravens are just garbage. In the second half, they were literal freaking garbage. And what really killed the Ravens was their best kind of play. Lamar Jackson hits a deep bomb to Zay Flowers. Throws a dot to Zay Flowers. He gets inside the 5-yard line, and then it's called for taunting. Terrible decision by Zay Flowers. Cannot do that. You got to keep your emotions in check. That stupid penalty to take. Now you get backed up, but it seemed like he was going to redeem himself, right? He caught the ball. He was going to reach to the end zone. Problem is he fumbled. He fumbled the ball. Touchback. And that was really what killed the Ravens. And then their very next drive after the defense, who had been lights out in the second. That defense of the Ravens played in the second half. Besides a stupid clowny penalty, the Ravens defense played lights out in the second half. They were good enough. The defense was good enough to win this game. The offense just shit their pants so hard. Their very next drive, they were moving the ball downfield. And then Lamar Jackson throws it to triple fucking coverage. What in the literal hell? Just mistake after mistake after mistake. And the Ravens, they did kick a field goal with 2 minutes to go in the game, but the Ravens just could not get the stop they needed. Chiefs were able to run out the clock, and they went to the Super Bowl. And I know people are going to be bitching about, oh my God, the fix is in. Woo! Whip the fucking assholes. How about the Ravens not playing like crap on offense all game long? Lamar Jackson, he had some moments, but only completed 20 out of 37 passes ain't going to do the trick. Sacked 4 times. That interception was just, that should not have been a thrown ball to triple coverage like that. And the Ravens kind of low-key panicked. They really stopped running the football. Really, honestly, after the first drive, it was almost like they didn't prioritize running the football. And that has been their strength. Their strength is running the football. They had 16 carries, 81 yards. That's 5.1 yards per carry. And they really didn't give their guys enough carries. They panicked. They went all in on passing, even though that's not their biggest strength, and they didn't need to do that. So the Ravens' offense is to blame for this loss. Any other extra bullshit can just fucking leave, get this fucking door and head the fuck out. Because that was not the reason why the Ravens lost. The Ravens lost was because of their offense and some of the stupid penalties they took. Zay Flowers, even though he had a great game statistically, 5 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown, that's a great game statistically. This game he's gonna be remembered for that penalty, that stupid penalty he took, and the fumble. So congratulations, Ravens. You had the entire season to prove yourselves. You failed. Lamar Jackson, I don't think he goes to a Super Bowl. I just don't think he's going to ever be good enough in the playoffs to win one. It's just his pocket presence has not been very good. It's better, but it's not good enough. And as for the Chiefs, a season that looked vulnerable for them. Remember, the late stretches of the season, they barely had a receiver who can catch a damn ball. Kadarius Toney, Valdez Scantling, the two main culprits. Literal garbage in the second half of the season. They limped into the playoffs, won their division because the division sucks, but they got it done. They beat the Dolphins, a matchup that really favored them because they were able to win in the cold weather. Then they beat the Bills. The Bills lost in heartbreaking fashion. The Chiefs outlasted them. And then they just simply made the plays they needed to beat the Ravens. The Chiefs just executed much better than Baltimore did. And they're in the Super Bowl. You can complain. You can hate them for being there. You complain about the Kelsey Swift saga. They deserve to be in the Super Bowl. They made the plays they needed, and that's the bottom line. So congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years, solidifying themselves. If they win, they really solidify themselves as a dynasty. Now we get to the second game. The Lions taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And their final score, the Niners win 34-31. At the start of the game, it looked like a Lions rout. The Lions scored on their opening drive rather quickly on a 42-yard sweep by Jamison Williams, who just ran his way into that end zone. And then the 49ers drove down the field, but Jake Mooney missed a 48-yard field goal. Lions just pushed down the field, get a touchdown in from David Montgomery. The Lions did answer with a touchdown drive of their own. But then the 49ers threw a pick. Lions took advantage. They score. Then their next drive, not a long drive, but a 17-play drive. A 17-play drive. They kick the field goal. They're up 24-7. I think most people think, okay, Lions got this game. This game's got to be over. And then the second half, the Lions drove down the field, kicked the field goal. They're only down by 14 points. And then the fun really starts. It's a 4th down, 4th and 2, the 28-yard line. Probably could have taken the field goal, but you know what? I don't think going for it was like the bad idea. Because Goff threw a pass to Josh Reynolds. Reynolds should have came down that one. That was more on Josh Reynolds dropping the ball. But then they just got killed. their defense just died. What really killed their defense was that deep pass to Brandon Ayuk. The ball gets tipped up in the air. Ayuk somehow comes down with it. And then a couple plays later, he catches a touchdown. Now the Lions got some momentum. Now the Lions need to get some offense going. And then Jameer Gibbs fumbles. 49ers recover it. They score rather quickly. So all within a few minutes, they tie the game. It's 24-all. And then Lions stall on offense. They have the punt. The Lions kick the field goal. They're up by 3 points. And then the real fun begins of this choke job that the Lions committed. It's 4th and 3 at the 49ers 30-yard line. You're down by 3 points. There's time. There's over 7.5 minutes to go. That is, the situation's called take the field goal, tie the game. But not in Dan Campbell's world. Dan Campbell's been going for 4th downs a lot. Some worked, some haven't. But goddamn, Campbell, there is no excuse to not take the points there. You have to kick the field goal in that situation. It was literally the only option. You done fucked up. You fucked up. That's what happened. Lions fucked up. Specifically on Dan Campbell. Jared Goff rolls out. Throws a pass to St. Brown that had no chance. Ball falls incomplete. 49ers take advantage of it. Drove down the field. Really what really killed them on that drive for the Lions was Brock Purdy scrambling for over 20 yards. Then a couple plays later, a touchdown from Elijah Mitchell. Now they're down by 10 points. Not good. But the Lions drove down the field. They put themselves in the position where, okay, if we score, get a stop, we can give ourselves a slim chance. But of course, the coaching staff of Dan Campbell and offensive coordinator Ben Johnson fucked up again. They fucked up again. It's 3rd and goal. You have 3 timeouts. You have to have all 3 of them for your defensive drive. You cannot run the football on 3rd and goal. You have to pass it. Whether to play action, whatever. That ball has to be thrown. It's called for a touchdown or it's incomplete. You cannot run the football. They ran the football. They lost yardage. Have to call a timeout, which killed them. They did get the touchdown on the 4th down. Now they have to get the onside kick. Couldn't get it. And the Niners just barely ran the clock out. So the Lions pulled a massive choke job. This was a choke job for the Lions. Jared Goff had a pretty solid day. Completed 25 of 41 passes, 273 yards, a touchdown. The running game was great all game long. David Montgomery had 93 rushing yards. Jameer Gibbs had 45 of them. Jameson Williams had that sweep for a touchdown. The team averaged 6.3 yards per carry. The running game did great for the Lions. Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown had good games. Josh Reynolds really did not have that much of a good game. He had like 2 drops. But what really killed the Lions, their defense full at the worst possible time, the Jameer Gibbs fumble at the worst possible time, and not going for it on that 4th down by 3, you need a field goal to tie. That's what killed them. And as for the 49ers, Brock Purdy had a terrible start in the first half, but he got it going in the second half. He finished today completing 20 of 31 passes, 267 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Christian McCaffrey had some key runs, 20 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged 4.5 yards per carry. Brock Purdy had some key scrambles. He totaled 48 yards rushing. Deebo Samuel, who people were asking how much of a factor he would be, he played a big factor. 8 catches, 89 yards. Brandon Ayuk had that big, deep catch and a touchdown. and the San Francisco 49ers are going to the Super Bowl while the Detroit Lions lose in heartbreaking fashion. A game that was 100% winnable, but failed. So now you get yourselves a Super Bowl matchup of the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams earned to be here. Both teams executed it when it mattered most. That's the bottom line. Not everybody will like the matchup, but both teams deserve to be here, whether you like it or not. The 49ers, they've been the class of the league this year, pretty much piping almost every opponent. Did have a little late skid, and really had to claw their way in the playoffs. This was probably not the Niners' ideal way to go to the Super Bowl. They expected just to pipe everyone, but they barely scraped out a win against Green Bay and had to come back to beat the Lions. But they are going to the Super Bowl, and they're fully loaded. They pretty much have minimal injuries. The only scare was Drake and Greenlaw, but that was nothing. So the Niners will be fine. As for the Kansas City Chiefs, I kind of already mentioned it. They hit a skid. They beat the Dolphins comfortably, edged out against the Bills, and beat the Ravens. Both teams' offenses have showed up when it mattered. The Niners' offense is a little bit better, but the Chiefs obviously have a top 3 quarterback of all time. But both defenses are elite. These two are arguably the best defenses in football. The Niners and the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense has been better in the postseason than the 49ers, but you cannot count the 49ers out. This is going to be an interesting matchup. I don't know who to pick. I guess I'll wait to make my prediction to get my thoughts in order. What do I think will occur during the game? But it's going to be a fun matchup. And both teams deserve to be there. That's the bottom line. So that'll be it for this episode of my recap of the Conference Championship Week. Both games, practically good games. They weren't blowouts. The first game was it was a good shootout. It wasn't really a shootout. It was an entertaining first half. Second half was a defensive slog. And then the second game, you got to watch the Lions. The Lions choked due to a lot of factors that I mentioned in the Niners' comeback. So there's my recap. And that'll be the end of this video. And thanks for watching.